Okay. Hi. Welcome. Today we're going to be talking about how to make DIY music, or as I like to say, how to dye your music. Anyway, today I'll be in Ableton. I'll be just showing you a bit of my process. This isn't meant to be a step-by-step guide, but more so just a view of my personal process and how I accomplish things. So yeah, let's just jump right into it. Also, I forgot to mention there will be a list of the equipment used in the description down below. And also, one more thing for real this time. If you want to hear the finished product, there will be a timestamp in the description down below, so you can skip ahead to that part. So first things first is the initial idea, and I started with guitar chords today. Now I need to set the tempo before I hit the record button. This is the B part, or B section of the song that I had planned out as well. Gonna arm this and record. Just getting the first initial idea down. Now I'm gonna start the B section. It's not perfect, but we can fix that later. And here I've sped up to where I've quantized and picked out a section I liked. Now we're going to do an amp simulator. I'm using Waves' amp simulator. I forget what it's called. It's like GTR or something. And it makes it sound so much better. Now I'm going to add effects. Since my guitar is mostly clean, I'm going to add a chorus. Sounds alright. So now we're going to add the drum part in. Just lay something down basic. You'll see a lot of these ideas are just initial ideas and they aren't fully fleshed out, but I'm just laying something as quickly as possible. Right here I have triplet, I think 8th note hi-hats here, and a kick on the 1 and the 3, snare on the 2 and the 4. Now I changed up the snare to add an extra hit at the end. Just a little small thing. Now I'm re-recording the guitars. Just strumming them once. And now is the bass part. This is the initial bass part. This eventually gets changed as well in the future, but it's just the first initial idea. And I'm going to use an amp simulator on this one as well. But it's going to be the bass version. I'm just going to play around with that. Now comes the B section of the bass part. After a lot of trial and error, I finally found a section that I liked. And now we are going to add in a pad. And this pad is fed through a Midi channel in Ableton and through to my Yamaha Reface CS, which is an actual hardware synthesizer. And here I've programmed the MIDI notes. And now all I have to do is tweak the sound of my synth and then hit record and print the audio. Got that. I play around with some delays here. Just to like fill out the pad sounds, make it wider. I play with Valhalla Freak Echo, Valhalla Supermassive at one point. There it is. And then yeah, just messing around here, seeing what I like, not committing. I'd check out Valhalla Delay too. Now is the B section of the pad part. Programmed all the MIDI notes, and now I'm just printing the audio. Now for the guitar part, I decided that I wanted to add delay to the chords to give it more rhythm and feel. And now for the drums, I've decided to swap them out and duplicate them over to EZDrummer too. This is not necessary, but you can use any drum sample or any drum library or anything that you want. Here I'm just adding drum bus to thicken up the sound. Now we're going right ahead to the guitar melody. That was for the A section, now this is for the B section. Okay, now we have the vocals. These are pretty basic vocals that I have. Starring our guest singer. Plus a sawtooth synthesizer, also from my Yamaha Reface CS. And together they make this. Starting to come together. And now we're adding a little bell chime. Here I'm using the OG Analog Lab VST thingy. Well, you can use really any instrument, really. Now it's time to record my melody. Here it goes. little mistake there, but I can fix it later. Okay, so now we have to record the B section. Cool. And now we're going to start arranging this in arrangement view. And we're just going to lay it all out and you'll see. Okay, now that we have that, I'm gonna speed up here and just show a little bit of me getting started arranging this. Just thinking about what comes in where, when, how loud, and so on. Okay, so after a lot of time arranging, this is what I've come up with. I've done some automation here. You'll see with the guitar chords in just a second. It takes a second, but the chorus and delay kick in after a little bit of an intro. And here I'm just showing off the automation lanes. Now what I've also added is alternate patterns for the drums to add fills. So yeah, a lot of arranging is just playing around with everything, really. What sounds good together. And sometimes you add things, sometimes you take out things. Like that. Yeah, you just want to play around and take things out, add stuff in. So after you've arranged and mixed your song to taste, now comes the mastering part. And this mastering part, it can be very tedious, so I just went with Ozo9's mastering plugin. And I tried to do a bypass comparison. However, I'm not sure if you can really tell a difference on the video due to how it's compressed and whatnot. But there is a definite difference. Also, I wanted to add that this plugin is not required for the mastering process, but it definitely makes it a lot easier. You can do it all by hand and just listen yourself, but for convenience purposes, I just slapped it on to the master chain. And there you have it. Alright, so thanks for joining me on that little journey. I guess I just want to do an overview of all the steps that were involved. Okay, so we started off with the initial idea. That was the chord progression. Well, 2 chord progressions really. We had the arrangement and then mixing. I was kind of doing the mixing as I went along, but that included compression, EQ, adjusting levels, panning, and effects, and whatever have you. Also quantizing in there as well. Then came the mastering, and yeah, That was pretty much everything. I'm thinking about doing more in-depth videos on all of that in the future, but we'll see. I'm not sure yet. But yeah, here is the song.